Hey everybody, thought I would make a video today on some ancient Egyptian history. This is something I wanted to do a video on for a while, but last night I needed to refresh myself on this story and I did a lot of reading, and today I thought I would share. Now we are on Google Earth and I'm going to zoom in here on the eastern part of the Nile Delta to the ancient site of Tanis. Now, you may recall the name Tanis from the Indiana Jones movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is where Indy was searching for the Ark of the Covenant that was supposedly buried in a sandstorm here. And of course that is a fictional story, but there is some basis of truth on why they used this site for that movie. In the 1920s, there was an archaeologist by the name of Montet who was searching this site, partially because there's ancient Egyptian text telling of a pharaoh of about 3,000 years ago that invaded the Holy Land, stole the Ark of the Covenant, and brought it back here to Tanis. But while Montet was digging and excavating here, he was coming across artifacts with the name of Ramesses II on it. So Montet had declared that he had found the lost, fabled city of Piramesse. And this is a city that was kind of legendary. It was never known where the location was, so this was a pretty important find. But when people started looking into Montet's find and his declaration that he had found the lost city of Piramesse, a few things were not adding up. Number one, Piramesse was built on the easternmost branch of the Nile River. That pretty much was not in dispute. And geological studies kind of proved that Tanis was never on this easternmost branch of the Nile River at the time of Ramesses II. The Nile Delta with flooding, it changes over the years. That is obvious. And it was proven that this city of Tanis was never located on the eastern branch at the time of Ramesses II. So, people started searching again, and this is what they found. Well, further studies were done, and they were really concentrating on where this easternmost branch of the Nile flowed in the time of Ramesses II, and they began finding evidence of a long-lost city. And I'm going to take you into the present-day city of Qantir, I believe it is called. And this is where they found all sorts of stuff under the surface. I'm going to leave links below, article and also a documentary done by PBS, a great documentary that tells this whole story. But this is where they really found all the evidence, and they began uncovering many artifacts, even a horse stable that could hold as many as 450 horses. And in the stalls, there was actually holes that were described as horse toilets. They found bronze artifacts, and they did radar imaging of this area, and a city appeared under the surface here. It's pretty incredible. It shows that image in the documentary. But this whole area, and I zoomed in here to give you an idea how big the city was, of over 250,000 people. It encompassed this whole area, and today there is no evidence of it whatsoever. So, you have two different sites, which is very interesting, showing evidence that it was the city of Ramesses II. Well, this is the original city site of Piramesse. And there was a pharaoh by the name of Shusheni. And what happened was the Nile, this easternmost branch of the Nile, got all silted up, and basically the city was choked off of water. So what he did, and this is just an incredible achievement, he took the whole city of 250,000 people and moved it up to Tanis. He moved 200-ton obelisks all in one piece. He disassembled temples, and he moved the whole city up here to Tanis. That is an incredible achievement. Shusheni was known as the Silver Pharaoh. His tomb was found, and he was buried in a coffin made entirely of silver, which was very unique in Egypt. Most of them were buried in gold, obviously, the important ones, such as King Tut. But the story of the silver pharaoh, Shusheni, and how he moved the entire city of Ramses II, Piramesse, up to the site at Tanis, 12 miles or 20 kilometers away, roughly, is an incredible achievement back about 3,000 years ago. Just thought this was a very cool story. Thought I'd share. Hope you thought it was interesting. Enjoy your weekend.